We are here for another fun card tutorial, and if you joined me on Stampin' Up's virtual album retreat, we learned a really fun background ink blending technique that I'm going to show you on today's card. What I love about paper crafting is it can translate from scrapbooking, memory keeping, 3D projects, cards, right? The same techniques can be applied across all the fun crafty platforms, right? Well, let's get started. We're going to be using the new Label Me Grateful set today, Stamps and Dies, to make today's card. And as always, you can find this week's tutorial in your Buzz Bulletin. If you're not signed up, it's a free email newsletter that I send out each week to my subscribers. It's got a free printable PDF tutorial included with a picture of this week's card, all of the measurements and all the step-by-step instructions. And when you place your $50 or more order in my online store this week, I'll print the tutorial out for you and include a card kit with all the pre-cut card pieces to make 3 of this week's card as a freebie from me. That's what I call it, a freebie from me. So go ahead and head to my online store and I will be more than happy and excited to spoil you with some freebies. Let's get started. Okay, so here is our set that we will be using today, Label Me Grateful, and it's a new online exclusive, and it's got all of these big, bold, beautiful sentiments we're going to use today. You are so appreciated. You're the best is another great one. Thank you. A little kindness makes a big difference, and so grateful for that heart of yours. And what I love about this set is it comes with that awesome sentiment banner die cut piece, and then there's all of these fun kind of sprigs and foliage, fall leaves and acorns, a flower that you can use as a poinsettia with some holly berries, or you could use it as, you know, like a daisy with a leaf. I mean, so many options with this. So let me show you today's card. So here is a fun card that we're going to use today. We've got that you are so appreciated, and I'm going to get up real close so you can see that we've got some background. It kind of makes it like a shadow, but some kind of background ink blending that we're going to do today. So let's get started. I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to bring in a piece of grid paper. I just have it folded in half here. And here is our card base. This is just basic beige that I have already pre-cut, scored, and folded for us just to save us a bit of time. We're going to use some Mossy Meadow ink, and we've got our blending brush. I label mine because I don't like to wash them. I really think the more ink that gets into them, the better that they blend over time. So the more you use it, you've got all of that ink up in there, and it just becomes, I think, easier and a little more flawless over time. So I love a blending brush for each color. So we're just gonna go ahead and tap just a little because we don't want to get any of those little harsh dots. We're gonna start in the middle because that part's gonna be covered up with our sentiment. So if it gets a little funky, like too much ink or something, it's okay. And we're just gonna go kind of circular motion. You can see it's kind of darker where we start, right? And I'm just gonna kind of go for this project all around, kind of leaving the edges the same, you know, the edges free from color. And we're just gonna go ahead and blend this kind of in a circular motion, kind of all over here. What we're just trying to do is create kind of a light, fun, blended background. Now, it doesn't look always so good when you first do it, right? So a couple of things. Number one, it's going to dry a little bit lighter, so that is what we want. I'm going to move my ink pad aside here for a second. I'm going to bring in Wink of Stella, okay? And what we're going to do here is we're going to squeeze our Wink of Stella into our cap here, and we're going to flick with the lid to create some kind of speckles, and hopefully you'll start, yep, you can start to see them all across here. And we're just gonna kind of give this a fun, speckled, shimmery, glittery background. So that's all I've done. Wink of Stella and just flick, flick, flick to create those speckles. There, you can really see them, right? So I'm gonna set this aside. It's gonna dry, and all of that is gonna lighten up a little bit. You can see here on my finished one how much lighter it is, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and put this to the side for a minute, and I'm gonna bring in, so we can stamp our sentiment here. This is DSP, some designer series paper, and this is actually Country Woods. So this beautiful wooden kind of fun paper. There is this sheet in here, and on the background is a darker wood grain, and we're gonna use this lighter wood grain. So you'll notice some of the pieces are very filled with grain here, and then there are some that are a little more sporadic, right? So when you're die cutting this, I think I did somewhere kind of right around there, magic of TV, I just used, or YouTube I suppose, use this die in this designer paper to cut that out. And what I wanted to show you too was you can actually get, and they're probably not all showing, but you can actually get 5 die cuts out of one strip of that 12 inches, right? And so I think I cut it at 3 3/4. That'll be on your PDF tutorial if you want to print that out, but you can actually get 5 of those the way this die works out on one strip of that 12-inch DSP. So I kind of loved that because, you know, it doesn't always work out that you get those exact amount through. So I've got my Mossy Meadow again, and we've got You Are So Appreciated. So I'm just going to ink that up, and I'm just going to stamp that down. And we've got our You Are So Appreciated sentiment. And so I loved it because you could still see it with that Mossy Meadow, but we've got this beautiful wood grain background. If you don't like that, of course, you could just die cut this out of basic beige. I think I even have one here. If you wanted just a more simpler sentiment, you could die cut it just out of that basic beige, or you could die cut it out of the Country Woods, stamp it on a basic beige, and fussy cut it out and mount it that way. So you'll have to tell me in the comments which is your favorite. Stamped directly on the DSP, that was my favorite, or stamped on the basic beige, or stamped on basic beige and fussy cut out to mount it on the DSP. So we're going to use this one today, and you can see, let me bring back in that piece, it's lightening up as it's drying, and so we will start working on this here. We're going to bring in some of those die cut pieces. So I already pre-die cut 2 of these sprigs out of Old Olive and 2 of these sprigs out of Mossy Meadow. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to bring in our liquid glue here, and we're just going to have some fun. So I'm just going to add just some little dots, not even all the way up, just because I want kind of these top leaves to be a little bit looser, kind of free. And I'm just going to kind of hold that down a second. Then we'll get one. So that was Old Olive. Now we're going to top it off with one that is Mossy Meadow. And the same thing, I kind of want those top leaves to be a little bit free and loose so that they can kind of have a little bit of dimension without having to add dimension, right? Now on these other 2, we're going to do them opposite. So we're going to do them the darker Mossy Meadow first, and then the Old Olive right on top of that. So this one, we're just going to kind of center it here and stick that down. And then grab our other old olive one here. And I love how easy this card is to do. It's simple, but it's still so beautiful. And I really love that ink blending kind of background. It almost becomes like a shadow for our sentiment. So with our sentiment here, we're going to bring in some Stampin' Dimensionals. And we're just going to go ahead and add these to the back of our die cut here. We'll peel the backings off of those. And I just like to, little side tip here, I have this little bowl, and I just like to take all my dimensionals as I'm crafting and stick them, the backings, in the bowl so they're not all over my table. And then as this fills up, or when I'm done crafting for the day, I can just dump this right into the trash can. Easy, right? So then we're just going to take our sentiment and we're going to mount that right with those dimensionals right on top there. And see how our ink blended background just becomes almost like a shadow for our sentiment here. Okay, and then I'm going to open this up and we're going to bring our blending brush back in, and I'm just going to kind of add a tiny bit of this in that bottom corner just to give it a little interest there. You could go all the way around if you want. Another thing that you can do, I kind of liked it this version, so you know, you could just write your message in there and be done. But you could also ink blend the whole background and put another piece of basic beige in there as well. But I kind of loved this version. All right, and then we're just gonna finish this up with some bling. We of course need some bling. We've got our shimmery Wink of Stella on there, but we need a little bit of a bling. So these are the low profile sparkle dots, and we're gonna use these Mossy Meadow ones here. And we'll just put, I think, 3 of these on, right on our kind of sentiment die cut there. And 1 up in the top. And our card is done. Isn't that fun? I love how that Country Woods DSP looks so great with this Label Me Grateful set. All right, well, here is the freebie from me. So remember, with your $50 or more order this week in my online store, you can get this kit. So you'll get all the pre-cut pieces to make 3 of this card we just made when you order by Wednesday night. So today's Thursday, by the following Wednesday at $11.59, and it's $50 or more before tax and shipping and after any rewards that you might have. If you need the link to my blog or to shop, you can go to stampinqueenbee.com. And let me come back on here so that I can say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing, for commenting. I read and respond to each one, me personally, so I really do appreciate each of those and your emails and all the things. I'm so grateful for each one of you. All right, well, have an awesome week. I can't wait to see the cards you make using this set, and I will be back with more videos for you. Have a great one.